And hello student, in this session we learn the static data member in C++. So let us start. I share my laptop screen and here fix the position so you can watch better my video lecture. And here Turbo C++ is there. I just double click and now take some time. And yes, now it's open. Alt F and file menu we have to take, and that our concept. Static is a keyword, so static member, static data member. Yes, so we can first see the not member function but static. There are also possible you can declare the static data member function or just static member function, you can say that. So here static data member. So what is a rules? So that is a initialize itself. First object is created and that is initialized by 0, like in C language with static variable. So we cannot initialize any required to static data member, and that is a common memory for all object. That is refer like in our data member function, that is a common memory in every object. That is a same in previously part we can understand in a class every private member or public that is a variable is a separate memory location for every object, but here static data member follow the static member function that is common for all objects, same memory location, and it is within the class, means its life cycle you can use in the class but it life cycle enter your program. So that is a rules of static, and now we can start to header file include. So here that io string.h, and then next is to conio.h, yes, and then class declaration. So we can take class is a keyword, and then we can define our class. We can say that item, or we can say that product, whatever that. So here we can declare the item class, and that we can take first as our data member integer, and that is we can take like any counter variable. So C, like, because that is a counting the record, that what is the use of static variable or static data member. So that is a you have to know that is an instant variable, that class variable that known as an instant variable, because that object is created that time that memory is allocation of that variable. So that is an instant variable. So here static is a common for first object we can create that initialize 0, and also we can write that definition outside of our class. That is very important. So we can see how it's write the definition. Okay? And now we can here take one simple variable like x, that is an instant variable also. And now we can declare our public part colon, yes, and now we can get our data, means both variable we can, and here we can take with parameter. So with argument no parameter that type, and next we can like display that type of function. You can also use the put data, that type of. Okay, so now our class is ready, and outside class we can write the definition like we can, as it is first or integer, and C, that is a we can declare in a general variable, like in x we have to declare. Now that is a scope of class, so that is a same syntax like in our data member function with definition in between item and then scope resolution operator. That is known as a definition, we can say that definition of, yes, of static data member. So that is a definition. So outside the class we can write the compulsory, otherwise that taking the error. We can also check comment line and how it's error. First we can save this file. So that is a static Yes, so static member. So we can pass three letter, yes, and dot cpp. So static member. Yes, now we can define our data member, and that is a get data. We can first write that directly, and that our technique. Now we can include our class and scope relation. That is a now perfect declare definition of member. And here one parameter integer, and we can pass like a, and a is initialized to x. Yes, and C we can just print. There is not any initialize is required. We can just record counting, so that is plus plus only. So yes, so now we can print, that is a display or show. You can that type of member function take, and in between you have to know we can provide the item and that record counter. So employee, you can take the form how many employees, that type, any in per day, or like in mall you can how many customer for visit per day. That type counter you can using the static data member, using that variable, because that all common location of every member, that is. And first we can create our object that initialize by default itself. We cannot initialize to ourselves, that initialize itself when first object is created. So that is very important, and that is a very important, that's syntax. You can look that how understand. So that is a syntax I just write for your comment. So here we can write first, that is a data type, then class name. Yes, class name you have to write, then scope resolution operator, and then static, you can say that member or static variable, or you can say that static data member. So that is variable we can write. So that is a syntax. Yes, so I just write for syntax for you. So that is a syntax, like look, that is a integer data type. Yes, then class name is cover, and scope resolution operator, and static variable name, and semicolon is, yes, semicolon is remaining in syntax, so we can must be provide the semicolon. So that is a main. If we not write this statement, that taking error. And now we can print our variable, both non-static and static. We can say that non-static x is a non-static or non-static variable. So no, that is not static variable means. So here we can print the first capital x value is. So every object that x value is a different, and provide the ender. But every object that is a x c is a same. So that how first we can print the c. So that is a, we can say that count or c value, we can count value is. So here we can print the c. Yes, and yes, that is I think complete. And now we can print, take our class void main, and print all uh, calling that member function. So here item, and we can take that variable name like m, because I is like looking, we can say that one, or that counter variable of most of generally in for loop. So here we can take m1. Okay, and then first we can clear the screen. Yes, that require. And m dot, first we can call the get data, but we can pass some value. So here you can scan also in main, and then pass it also, that possible. We can first take the one only. Okay, and then we can call the display. Yes, so there is no require any. First we can check only one value, one time calling all two member. Yes, member function. Yes, yes, no error. Let us check how it's work. Yes, so the x is one and count is also one. So first our object that m1 is created, that time that c initialize is a one. There is no any error. If we comment line of providing here, I just check for you. So I provide the definition that is known as a definition, not declaration, because we can declare to here that static variable. Yes, here, but that is a definition of the static variable. That is new thing. So here I first save and compile. Yes, getting the error because undefined symbol and C in module static and that file name no linking, because that we can call print to C variable or initial C++ here use and here also use. So that time that not find that definition. So that is a must be. You can first, I think, see that is a variable, that definition. That is a static data member requires. You can write must be that definition. Otherwise, you cannot use. So here now I open the comment line and M1 our first object created, that is a initialized by 0, that is a C variable that depend that definition directly. C initialize static as a 0 variable, so we can counter that type of meaning, so we can declare the C variable. Okay, and then uh, there is no other extra initialize provide to the static variable, that is the same as a C in the static variable. So and we can that write the definition, that is compulsory part, and that is a scope of within a class, but that life cycle is a outside entire program to that work. So that is a main benefit of static data member. So we can use the counter type of that value. So I again call these two function, and we can define the object like M2 and then M3, what happened. So one by one call here and we can provide the handle everything. Otherwise take same line that appear here. I give and then handle, that is new line, and then again we can same process. Yes, so here M2 dot get data, and here you can pass any value. I can give idea how to pass in last object. Yes, and M2, and that we can display our function. So let us what value is there. So yes, what yes here, okay, that A is remaining, so that giving the error. So yes, set 2 and counter is also 2. So here we say if we calling the directly here, we can say that first here M1, how to that initialize 0, we can check this condition. So here I first call M1 M2 and display that function, and then also we can declare the M3. Yes, that declare. So we can first call, that is a all object taking the same value or different value, that is a we can check. So here I yes first I comment line of this all statement, so we can understand better way. So yes, what is a value of C, that is we have to check, and X is a yes. So yes, look, X is a garbage value because we cannot take in that value, but C is a every time, that is a we can give in the 0 value, that is a M1, M2 and M3. So that is a providing the 0 value. Okay, or if you get the like here, we can just first print only X value, so we can identify that what happened. So let us check. Yes, it is yes. So you can now easily identify every object that M1, M2 and M3 that is getting the same location. That is we prove, that is because we cannot like just we can define M1, M2 and directly display, and not X is a print. So that is a comment line. So directly we can understand same first object M1 created, that initialize 0, and every object refer the same location. That is true because that is every 3 M1, M2 and 3, that is same 0 value is displayed. Okay, so I think you can understand. And now we can pass the value. So here we just initialize yes, and if you not print X, that is not required, just we have to understand how its concept. So now we can create like the pass that x value. Also, you can pass the dynamic value also that possible. Like we can m3 check first, scan some variable and like enter uh, one integer value. Okay, that type of message, and here can take one variable integer type, so we can scan. So here we can take like a is not used, so here a, and a is scan. Yes, and now we can m3 dot the first get data and pass this a. So that is a possible, and then m3 dot we can display. Yes. So, but we cannot print our first time x, and look how that value is there. Okay. So we can display every m1 m, that is also. Yes, let's check how it's possible. Yes, so now yes, that value is giving. So I give any value, so that is 3. So first we cannot scanning this value and then checking, so you can understand better way. So that is just hidden, and I give the static. So now what is a value? Yes, so let us check. Yes, so every object can increment one counter variable. So first all are 0, and then m1 calling, and then object that simple variable, that non-static variable initialize that 1 plus plus, then second object that is a 2. So that is a counting record. There are 3 object and c is plus plus 2 3. So that is a static variable. So very simple understand. Now also you can print the simple that x variable, but that not need, I think. So we can just pass how to, I just remove this, and we can also not print x value, so we can understand the better way. So that is just for reference. So you can also print, but that not required. So we can understand the concept. That is a main point in this session. So what is a static? I just revision. So when first object created in C++, like here we can create item M1. So that is a definition depend upon the definition that static variable initialize 0. Okay. And then after every object that call that member, so here we can counter C++. So every time member is get data call, that C is plus plus. So every object, there are 3 objects, and there are 3 plus plus counters. So first is 0, and M1 calling the get data, then C plus plus. So that is 1. M2 calling that X initializations, and then C plus plus, so 2, and then M3 get data call, and then 3 counter. So that refer the same location. Yes. If I again call that here, I directly give one example. I now M1 display again call. So what value? That is we have to check. Yes, that is also important. Yes. Now let us that print is count is 3. So now you can get the idea. That is every object refer the same location. Now you can also call M2 and display again. So that is also display the 3 value. So last is a 3 plus plus. So after we cannot create any object. So that is a proving. So you can understand every object refer the same location. Like our data member function is a same memory location in the like data encapsulation, means wrapping the member and member function in single unit, but uh, that variable of class or instant variable, that is non-instant variable, because when class is created, that memory allocation, that type, so that is instant variable in class data member. So here is a static is a common cell for every object. So that is we have proved. So last, that is a very important. So here I call again to M1 and M2. So that M3, that get data call, that we have to plus plus. After that we have to not plus plus our C variable. So that is a same variable referring same location to every object. So I think you can understand, and that is a definition of data member function. Uh, Data type, class name, scope region, and static name. So that is a static data member in C++. So that is a use of record counting in any software, or we can say that in general way, like how number of time in like web technology we have to refer. So how number per day your customer or your uh, website is visited by any visitor. So that is counting by static data member. So write this program to your notebook in C++. So I complete this session. So we can testing so many things. Yes. So now I close this file. Okay. And that is very important definition of static variable. Okay. So that is main we can apply to or require, that is a record counting. So F3, close this file, yes, and Alt X quit. Subscribe my channel Ashok Sijal Academy. Press the bell icon to never miss any update. And thanks for your watching, supporting, and sharing my video lecture. And Hare Krishna.